Hi everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another fashion edition. Today I wanted to take a look at this list of the best dressed celebrities at the Emmy Awards. I was sick when the Emmys happened, so these fashion editions are quite late. Apologies. Today I'm taking a look at Harper's Bazaar's list because lately I have really been disagreeing with a lot of their content. A lot of their best dressed lists or their fashion content just seems like it's a pay for play sort of a situation because it's like, that's not actually great. And they're telling us it's great. It's irresponsible. I do, however, agree with their opening headline here that the red carpet felt more sophisticated than it has in recent years. Obviously, with everything, it kind of ebbs and flows, and we went to the extremes of naked dressing and shortest of short hemlines and slits way up to the hoo-ha, and now people are ready for something a little bit more elegant, a little bit more graceful and sophisticated. So that's a relief. Even just for the plain reason that it's getting old, seeing the same naked dresses. You can only see something that just looks like a bedazzled body so many times before it gets boring. I mean, it just is. So let's see who they put on their best dressed list and whether or not we agree. But before we get into that, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Click the like button if you would like to, and leave a comment if you want to. So here at number 1, they have Ayo Edebiri in a custom Bottega Veneta dress, and I quite like it. It's really pretty. It has pattern and shine, but it's not overwhelming because the silhouette is so simple. Remember the basic rules. If your silhouette is simple, you can get away with a lot more interest in color and fabric and texture. But if you have a dramatic silhouette, you can't really do texture and pattern and lots of other busy elements without it becoming overwhelming really quickly. So this was quite nice because it had a good balance. You'll also notice that the strapless design here does create nice balance for her because our eye is drawn to that pattern, and the slit helps encourage or direct our eye to her hip area, which then creates a really nice balance with her exposed shoulders. She doesn't have like the most dramatically well-defined waist, but here everything looks really nicely balanced and flattered. So this was fabulous. I also appreciate her choice of shoe. It's a shiny black, very simple shoe that does not have an ankle strap. So this complements the dress perfectly. It doesn't interrupt anything. The only thing I might have changed would be perhaps the earring choice and perhaps the hairstyle. Something with a little bit more volume might have been nice for her, or perhaps a half up would have been nice. She could have even gotten away with an updo. I don't think this hairstyle is ill-suited or anything like that, but everything else about this is really nice. At number 2, they have Greta Lee, and she's wearing, you guessed it, Loewe. She almost always wears Loewe. I don't think I've seen her in hardly anything else. And this is just a beautiful ethereal white dress, but I wouldn't necessarily put this on the best dressed list. The way the fabric is twisted and draped around her neck, it offers the texture of a shower loofah. Because it's twisted up and rolled like this, you can't appreciate the actual texture of the fabric, which has sort of floral embroidery or lace to it. So I wish they would have done that differently because it just ended up looking like a loofah, like a shower scrubber. It's not flowing nicely. Maybe if it didn't have the twist and so many layers to it or something. I'm sure it is actually quite interesting and spectacular in terms of design. It looks to be something that has minimal seams and that this was just all created. It gives the impression that it's all created from a single piece of fabric, which is cool from a design perspective. But to wear on the red carpet here, it's not quite translating as well on camera. It also looks like it would be very comfortable. I think because of the bulk around the chest, the beautiful earrings were a good choice, but maybe an updo would have helped just elongate her up out of this, enhance her vertical line more. I don't love it. Shoes also look uncomfortable. I can't help but notice her pinky toe is just being chopped off essentially by this strap across the toes. That's unfortunate. It looks like they're actually almost a size too small, or just perhaps were ill-fitting for her. Not a great choice of shoe here. Just because of that fact, it drew the eye to it. If her hemline was lower to where we couldn't see the toe being chopped off, it would have been fine. Next, we have Maya Rudolph, and I unfortunately disagree with this one. She seems very nice and has spoken before about struggling to find things to wear on the red carpet that she felt really comfortable in. She one year wore what I called a red flying squirrel one piece situation. I'll try to find it and put it here for you guys, but she said it was the most comfortable and confident she had ever felt on the red carpet. So I felt bad for hating the flying squirrel situation, but this particular outfit has potential. I don't think it should be on the best dressed list. The main problem I see with this particular outfit is the boots that she chose do not match in tone to the dress. It's a very blushy brown and it reads more warm toned on camera. And the shoes are obviously a grayish, cool tone taupe. They just don't work. She should have gone for a warmer boot. So the boots are a total fail. The construction of the dress has a lot of things going for it for her. As we've discussed in a recent video, like when you are self-conscious about your upper arms, sometimes a sheer overlay the way this one is can really, really help to make you feel more comfortable in something that's sleeveless. And so I like that this provides a really great example of that. But the ruffle down the center and across the hemline paired with the sheer cape situation almost reads messy, especially at the hemline. It's just reading very, very messy. So if it were a little bit more polished, I think this would have been a great success. Next, they have Naomi Watts at number 4, and this is an emerald dress from Balenciaga. Shame on Balenciaga. I think they should still be in timeout for their cringy, creepy ad campaign a few years ago. If you don't know anything about it, just go Google it. This is one of those moments where celebrities do have the opportunity to send messages of things that are unacceptable by simply not wearing a brand on the red carpet, but yet so many of the big A-listers have gone ahead and worn Balenciaga this season on the red carpet, and it's just kind of disappointing. But lots and lots of them are doing it, so Balenciaga must be pushing really hard their celebrity relationships to try to recover from their big mistakes. But anyway, I have mixed feelings about this being on the best dressed list. This color is spectacular, particularly on Naomi Watts. It is so beautiful, and I love the simple construction of it as well. However, it is so wrinkly. Why? Look at how many wrinkles are on here, and even the seams look like they're puckering everywhere. For that reason, I wouldn't put it on the best dressed list. Another thing, the thick band across the top of the dress is creating a smooshed effect for her bust, which is just unfortunate. It either needed to be a little bit longer or just sewn down at like maybe a flattering curve situation or something, or it needed to be shorter because the position of it here, it's really kind of taking away from her bust line here, creating a slightly awkward effect. However, the general silhouette of it is very, very beautiful and nice. I just wish it was more polished looking and not Balenciaga. At number 5, they have Dakota Fanning with this Armani column gown that has a pearl overlay. It is a very beautiful dress, and she looks spectacular in it. It does look to be a little squashy, a little falling downy on the boobs. That's unfortunate. The bust could have been reworked to sit just a tiny bit higher. I don't understand why all of the strapless dresses lately are chopping our boobs in half. That's not comfortable, first off. At least not for busty gals, it's not comfy. I can attest to that. And it gives the impression that the dress is falling down. Stop it. Just lift the bust a little higher or make the cups have slightly more contour so they can actually get up and over. Here's the key issue on these. When the outer corners of the bust line are sitting so low that you can see boob tissue on top, right there where the armpit is, that's what really gives it away as looking like it's falling down and not fitting the bust properly. That's what drags it down, literally. Because if it's high enough here and still comes down here, it just looks like it's creating a sweetheart effect and showing some cleavage or a V-neck effect. And that's fine. But when the neckline area, the bust area, is too low on the outer corner of the bust line, it doesn't work. It ruins it. As far as the dress itself goes, it's beautiful. It's beautifully constructed. Armani is fabulous. I like the pearl overlay. I think she looks fabulous in it. She has a more rectangular body type, and so something like this that's very streamlined but has some movement to it and some gathering here and there and really encourages the vertical line is going to be very flattering for her. I would like to see her in something with a little bit more color sometimes. She really gravitates towards these more champagne sort of colors a lot of the time. Really, really gentle pale tones, which is fine. She obviously likes them since she often wears them. But I would like to see her in something with a little bit more color. Maybe something green like Naomi Watts would be gorgeous on her too. But this dress itself is beautiful. The only thing I hate about it is that it looks like it's falling down. I think it's fair to put it on the best dressed. At number 6, we have Itza Gonzalez. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I love the color of this pink ensemble. This baby pink, whatever you want to call it, is one of my favorite colors. I absolutely love it, but I absolutely hate this style of bust. These little tiny boob circles just hanging out way off to the side is ultimately not flattering. It looks like it's going to pop open at any moment. It looks like it would be uncomfortable to wear. Us ladies, those of us with boobs, know that something like that just stuck onto your tatas is not going to be comfortable throughout the night. You're constantly going to feel like you're jiggling around too much, like it's falling down. It's just simply not comfortable. No matter how much fashion tape you use, it's not a comfy silhouette. So immediately us women are not going to read this as something comfortable to wear. But additionally, it creates an awkward look. It looks like her boobs are doing an east-west thing. It looks like they're being pulled too far apart. It's just not very flattering. I've never liked these just circle, Mickey Mouse ear style bust lines. It just doesn't work. Everything below the boobs, though, is really, really pretty. This sequiny, luscious fabric. The pink is gorgeous. The fit of it is fabulous. I could do without the messy looking feather opera coat. I could totally do without that. That's not necessary. Does this belong on Best Dressed List? No. Her hairstyle is great. Her makeup was a great choice for it. Maybe a choker necklace would have been really nice, really cute. Hate everything above the rib cage. Doesn't work. Not good. Does not belong on Best Dressed. Selena Gomez got number 7 in a timeless Ralph Lauren dress. I like it. I feel like she's worn this very same dress several times, like this exact same dress. Has she not worn it several times? This particular one fits better than some of the other crisscross halter neck situations that she's worn. Previously, sometimes they come down too low, like in this one here, this red one here. You can see the bust line comes down so low that it looks like she's falling out of it. She's a little bit bustier. She has more of an apple body type. So having it cut too low created the illusion that it was far too small for her and made her look bigger than she was. This one comes up high enough. As you can see, look at the corners of the bust line there by the armpit. You don't see boobage falling out. That indicates to us visually that it fits properly immediately. You can just see the difference right away. So this one is much more successful than other similar ones that she's worn or other dresses that are coming down too far in this area. This one's very beautiful. It works very nicely for her. I like the mermaid flare to it because she is a little bit more apple-y and doesn't have a super well-defined waistline. Having interest up here is a great strategy. Draw the eye away from the waistline. So for her, finding a dress like this one that does not create any sort of a focal point of the waistline is really, really nice. It's nice and streamlined. The black, dark, it looks to be a velvet texture is going to be slimming and elongating for her frame. It's just a very nice approach to her styling. I like the way her hair is styled for this. An updo is always a great idea if you have a crisscross halter neck type situation going on because that can get a little crowded or cluttered right here. But something like this where it's slicked back and worn back behind the shoulders is next best option. So this is really beautiful. I think it deserves its place here. At number 8, we have Saoirse Ronan. This is a custom 2-piece Louis Vuitton ensemble. And quite frankly, I'm not obsessed. It kind of just looks like a tube top and higher rise maxi skirt with a piece of chiffon just draped, just tucked in there and hanging. I don't feel like this had enough pizzazz to it to really be exciting and interesting and look like it's well executed. It just kind of looks like, you just kind of tucked a sheer piece of fabric in there. That's what you did. I'm not impressed by this at all. I think that her styling looks nice for it, but it really, no, I don't even think that the styling was a great approach here, actually. The diamond collar necklace was a good option if the neckline or the bust line of this tube top came up higher. The position of the necklace in relation to the top of the top is just not creating a balanced proportion. This area looks far too big in comparison to the exposed midriff. It's not creating a nice, equal, balanced proportion here for her silhouette. So overall, this is quite disappointing. I think it would have been a lot more interesting and a lot more beautiful if the chiffon did something else, perhaps came up over one shoulder or something like that, almost like a sari. I think that would have been really beautiful. This, no. It's just awkward, kind of, especially with the position of the necklace. It's just bringing out the awkward proportions that it created. At number 9, we have Sarah Paulson wearing Prada. She opts for Prada often, and I really like this blue dress portion, the top portion of this outfit. I really, really like the flared sleeve, the way it fits across her waistline, the slight boat neck to it. All of that is really, really gorgeous. But I absolutely despise what looks like crinkly, wrinkly, terrible black and white trash baggy style fabric peeking out from the bottom of this otherwise beautiful start to the dress. Now, if she just simply didn't want something that was at that length, she could have done any number of things. Prada could have done any number of things to have it be longer. But this is just awful. It completely ruins the gorgeous structure and silhouette that this dress otherwise had, this cobalt portion of the dress. Fabulous. Should it be on the best dressed list? I don't know. Maybe at the very bottom of the best dressed list because the cobalt part is gorgeous. But the dress itself as a whole, entirety, no. Definitely not. Jennifer Aniston at number 10. In one of her go-to silhouettes, a column gown. Nothing wrong with that. She does not have the most well-defined waist. She almost leans a little bit apple-y. There's a big misconception that apple means you have to have some degree of weight carried in your midsection. That is not always the case. It simply means you don't have a very well-defined waist and typically a little bit shorter of a torso rather than a rectangle who also doesn't have a super well-defined waist but typically has a average to long torso. Reads a little bit more athletic, while an apple doesn't necessarily read as an athletic body type. Apples also oftentimes have thinner limbs, or their limbs might look a little bit thinner or lankier in proportion to their boxier torso. Not always. The whole apple hourglass, pear, rectangle, that whole procedure or approach to styling has some benefits in terms of helping to balance out proportions, but rarely does somebody fit perfectly into just one of those shapes 100% of the time. So they're not always the best thing to look at for big picture. They're a good part, a good element to styling, but they can't dictate the entire styling approach, that's for sure. You've got to look at other proportions and other sorts of shapes and balance lines present in somebody's silhouette as well in order to get a really good approach. But anyway, tangent. Back to this Oscar de la Renta gown. I think it's pretty. I do not like the fact that the skirt is sort of sheer. We can see that sort of granny panty vibe happening. We hate it. We don't want it. Please stop doing it. The dress itself is nice. It's very beautiful, very well done. Lots of embroidery going on here. But it's not necessarily impressive. It's not wowing me. I think it would have been really fun to see this in some sort of a color, or have a color underneath it, line it with some sort of a color would have been a really nice touch. But no, wouldn't have put it on the best dressed list just because it's not interesting enough. It's not a wow moment, and it has the granny panty thing, so it kind of disqualifies it in my opinion. At number 11, we have Kristen Scott Thomas in a lilac dress with blush opera gloves. I don't like it, and I don't think it belongs on best dressed list at all. It looks sort of amateur, the dress design itself. The gathering across the neckline, fine, but paired up with the sleeves and the texture of the fabric and this capelet sort of situation that they have trying to go on here, all of that combined is just not looking great. It's not looking very good. I don't mind the lilac and blush paired up together, but it's just clunky. This looks heavy. This is not flattering her figure. It doesn't really vibe with her styling approach. It's kind of awkward. This looks not great in every way. At number 12, we have Hannah Einbinder in a rose-colored Louis Vuitton gown featuring a very interesting draped detail across the bust line and down the sides and back. I'm not loving this one either, honestly. The color is really pretty on her, and I love how it kind of matches her blush, and her lipstick is like just a darker version of the color of the dress. I don't mind the texture change in terms of the shininess of this top drape paired up with the skirt being matte and not shiny at all. I don't mind any of that. But as you can see, across the waist here, we have all sorts of lumps and bumps and wrinkles. That should not be happening. That is distracting and creating a focal point of that area of the waistband, and it's not attractive. The end of this drape here, where it basically begins on this side, not the side that drapes over the shoulder, this side, is looking completely unfinished. It's just hanging there like as if it's been placed with hot glue. That is not cute. That doesn't look good at all. The start of the skirt also just looks unfinished, like it was just stuck on there and needs some sort of a transition. This is not a success, despite having a decent potential and idea to it. The concept isn't horrible in and of itself, but just overall the execution of this looks poor. On top of it, this huge gather of fabric on her waistline under her left arm is taking away from her waistline. It looks crowded. It looks weird placed there. Why do you have a ton of fabric stuck under your boob here on this side? Just erasing your waistline. What is happening? Why is this here? Why was this made? It definitely doesn't belong on Best Dressed List. It hardly even belongs on the red carpet. It looks like it needs to go back into the workroom and be finished and edited. Furthermore, this hairstyle, now I know I sometimes show up here doing nothing with my hair and it looks a mess. So I'm not one to talk. I don't like taking time to style my hair, but this is a red carpet event. She should have done at least something with her hair. It just looks flat, plastered down, and like nothing was done with it. This I would put on worst dressed list overall, not best. What's happening? At number 13, we have Maya Erskine wearing Rodarte. I think this is okay. The color kind of washes her out just a tad. I'm not loving that almost pastel yellow color. I think it's fun. I think it's cute. It's not my absolute favorite, but as far as her and her body type, I think it's just fine. The texture and the interest from the flowers are creating their own focal point throughout the dress, and it has a decent flow to it. So overall, I think it's okay. It's just not my personal taste. Like, I would never wear that, but it's not a total tragedy. I think some people would probably find this to be incredibly ugly, and I can totally see why, but I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world. Now, number 14, Brie Larson in a custom Chanel dress. I think this was one of the best looks she has ever worn. I really, really like this. This is beautiful. It creates a really nice silhouette for her. It gives her more of a waistline with the flare. It is gorgeous. The silhouette of this is just stunning. Everything about this. I love that she did her hair in a high ponytail, her jewelry, all of it is perfect. This is a total home run. I would definitely place this on the best dressed list for sure. Agree. Finally, for once. And then at number 15, we have Meryl Streep in a pink McQueen suit. I don't mind this suit for her. I really don't. As you can see, the trousers are fitting her across the waistline well enough. I think closed toe pumps or heels would have been a better choice than open toe for sure. 1000% closed toe would have been better. She could have gone with cream to match her handbag, or she could have gone with any shade of pink because the rest of the outfit is so monochrome. She could have gone with like a hot pink or some sort of an accent with her shoe, and it would have been really fun and cute. I also think with her blouse, she could have gone for an alternative color if she wanted to kind of add a little bit more interest. But the suit jacket itself just looks to be ever so slightly too big. If it were tailored just a tiny bit better around her waist and throughout the arms, it would have been a complete and utter home run. As it is right now, it's almost there. Almost. What did you think of this best dressed list? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you next time. Have a happy day, everybody. Bye.